Do you know what bitch slaps my black Phillip? Subtitles and remakes of foreign films. Now granted, I grew up, like I said, late 80s, early 90s. That was my pre-teen and my teen years. We had a lot of anime. And granted, I know a lot of anime purists are going to hate on me here, but I love dub more than I like subtitle. What dub means is basically somebody goes back in, they re-edit the film a little bit, and then have an American cast basically say the lines and re-record stuff. There's some people who's like, well, you're missing part of the language. I'm going to be frank with y'all. You may be missing part of the language, but some things in some languages don't translate well into English. Or sometimes there's a cultural reference or something of that nature where basically a straightforward translation isn't going to work because the joke is going to be lost. For example, look at Dragon Ball Z. Well, not Dragon Ball Z, but the original Dragon Ball. When they first introduced Bulma to Goku. Basically, Bulma's last name is Breeze, but Bulma's Japanese name means bloomers, so it was Bloomer Breeze. Her whole family is a joke on underwear. Goku, of course, makes the reference of, oh, your name is Bulma? That's a funny name. And yeah, it is a funny name to American audiences, but we're missing part of the joke because we don't understand the literal translation of Bulma. And again, it's something of that nature where, yes, some things may be lost, but again, sometimes it's more understanding. Keep in mind when it comes to dubbing of a film, be it a live action film or anime, film is a visual medium. Meaning you're seeing that action as it happens. And it's brilliant. And it's beautiful. But how are you going to see that if you're reading subtitles at the very bottom of the screen? You're not. You're going to miss things. In fact, one of my favorite YouTubers, Bennett the Sage, he does Anime Abandon. If you haven't watched it, he did this whole thing where he showed people dubbed versions of the film and then the subtitles. The people who watched the dub was able to pick up on little nuances in the background and little bits of symbolism that your average viewer watching a subtitled Japanese language print wouldn't be able to get because they're too busy reading. So the people who watched the dub were getting more of that visual medium than the people who watched the subtitled version. It's always been a long-kept, basically, opinion of mine that I prefer dubs. Sometimes seeing a subtitled movie, it makes sense. You know, especially if you've got a studio who really wants to bring a movie to the United States, you know, be it in a limited release, who doesn't want to shell out a ton of money for voice actors and dubbing. I get that. But when the film comes to DVD or another medium or even digital download, a dub would be appreciated. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for going to the big screen and looking at the majesty of something in subtitled, but a dubbed version goes a long way. And think of it this way. You know, if you're a filmmaker or basically a studio who would purchase the rights to show a film like that in the United States, wouldn't it just be cheaper instead of making a whole new movie? You know, just to do a dubbing and bring the American audience the original film in its original format. And besides, a lot of the marketing material is just a little bit of a translation and you're done. You can just bring it all over with you. And that brings me to the other thing. Remakes of foreign films. For example, one of my favorite foreign films is Let the Right One In. Brilliant, brilliant piece of cinema. They recently, I wouldn't say recently, but I want to say about mid-2000s, they remade it as Let Me In. So number one, you see the shortened title. There are so many nuances in the original that are just missed by an American remake. And it's a huge trend that we're starting to see. We're losing a lot of great cinema because instead of just, you know, dubbing it and bringing it over, which would be cheaper than making a whole new movie, they would rather remake it. Look at Ghost in the Shell, a brilliant anime. Brilliant. And granted, yes, we did get a dub and a home video release of it, and it's been on cable. Man, could you imagine seeing the original anime on the big screen? And the best part of it is with the anime, you're not going to have the huge debate over whitewashing or anything of that nature. You're bringing the original anime over with a dubbed English side, you know, in a dubbed English track. I don't foresee the problem in that. And hey, a big release would be wonderful. And it would cost the studios nothing to get that in the cinemas. But instead, they'd rather blow their money to remake Ghost in the Shell, to remake Let the Right One In, to remake Akira. Yes, it's coming. They're remaking Akira. You know, there's talks of doing a remake of Attack on Titan. The live action one already exists, and there's a dub. Why are we doing this? It's a waste of money. And here's the most ironic part that a lot of people don't understand. We in America, even though we have Hollywood and a lot of our movies are shipped overseas, we only account for a small percentage of the cinema that's produced worldwide. Most of the cinema actually comes from places like Bollywood. And when was the last time that you watched a Bollywood movie? That shit's awesome. You need to check it out. Dancing, singing, hell, it could be a horror movie and it has dancing and singing in it. Trust me, worth it. But the thing of it is that studios are just wasting tons and tons and tons of money on stuff they really don't need to be. How many more DC movies do you need to see flop before somebody goes, wait a minute, this is just a waste of resources? How many times do we have to remake Godzilla before we realize that Godzilla Resurgence was fucking huge in Japan? And it got a very limited release here. Not even on DVD or Blu-ray yet over here. Or home video release. It's a shame. With foreign films, this is my policy. I want it dubbed, or, you know, I want to see the original. I don't want to see a remake. I don't want to see something remade. Don't get me wrong, remakes can have their place. Remakes make sense. Some of the greatest movies are remakes, you may not even know it. Like John Carpenter's The Thing. That was a remake. But that's a topic for another time. Anyways, that's what bitch slaps my black Phillip. Subtitles, fucking American remakes of superior American films. I love you guys. See you later.